Hello, everyone. Hi, people. I hope you're all doing well. This is Makeda Valletta, also known as the Body Scientist. In case you're unfamiliar with me, I am an exercise and sports scientist, and I'm also a holistic nutritionist. And I have committed my life to studying all the ways that we can take our body to its highest level. And as a nutritionist, my approach is very much rooted in traditional foods, local sustainable agriculture, and which is basically supporting local farmers. And everywhere I go, I'm always looking, every city I go to in the US, every country I go to, I'm always looking at the food quality and access to certain things, okay? And so today I'm going to report what I found and discovered about food in Amsterdam and the Netherlands. Okay. So I've been to Amsterdam and the Netherlands twice. I just got back yesterday for my second trip. The first time I went was October of last year, 2019. And I stayed in a small town called Woerden, which is about a 40-minute train ride outside of Amsterdam, in between Rotterdam and Amsterdam. And it's a small town. So it's like being in a small town suburb, like 40 minutes outside of the city. And like any small town, it's not like the city. So in Woerden, first of all, the train riding from Woerden into Amsterdam, you see all of these green pastures, very green pastures, very healthy looking cows, some of the healthiest looking cows I've ever seen. And they're big on cheese, okay? And all the cheese that they make is made from their beautiful grass-fed cows. Now, if you follow me, you hear me talking about grass-fed dairy, how nutritious it is. Grass-fed dairy, milk and meat that comes from cows who are feeding on grass outside has a totally different nutritional makeup than consuming milk and meat from cows that come from the commercial food industry. The milk and meat of cows that come from the commercial food industry is full of pro-inflammatory fats. The milk and meat of cows that come from grass-fed pastures have anti-inflammatory fats, very important proteins, way more nutrient dense, okay? So the thing about Amsterdam and the Netherlands is that they are the healthiest, strongest, like fittest looking group of people I've ever seen. Everybody looks really fit. They're tall. They look like they have reached their full genetic potential, okay? So one thing that shocked me is that the Netherlands is not just white people. There are a lot of Black people in the Netherlands as well, which I did not know. And, nutrition, there's a lot of issues that people have these days that they think is normal. And it's from generations of poor nutrition. And nowadays, I always talk about the younger people today, like college students now, they don't look like college students looked when I was in college. I don't care if I'm at a Black school or white school, college students look so frail and underdeveloped. That is from poor nutrition, and that happens over generations. Definitely read a book called Nutrition and Physical Degeneration by Weston A. Price. It's a very important book. The most important book. If you read no other book about nutrition, if you are confused about all these theories, read the book Nutrition and Physical Degeneration by Weston A. Price, okay? But in Amsterdam and the Netherlands, everybody's tall. I think it's the tallest country in the world, which actually kind of shocked me. The women are all tall, the men are tall, people look strong, their bone structure is perfect. Everything's just well-formed and perfect. And they look fit. I'm not just talking about skinny, but they look fit. And it's ingrained into their everyday life, okay? So I'm gonna get back into how intense physical exercise is ingrained into their life. I'll get back to that. I'm gonna continue with the food. So they eat lots of dairy. So ice cream is something that is a big deal to them, but it's my understanding that it's in the summertime. And in the summertime, the dairy farmers, they have ice cream shops where the dairy farmers are making ice cream from their own cows from their farm. And I think that's great. So now I feel like I have to go back to the Netherlands in the spring so I can experience that. Because unlike the States, there are places in the States where you can get milk from grass-fed cows and local ingredients, and they're open year-round. You have places like that in California, places like that in New York, and they'll be open year-round. In Amsterdam, the Netherlands, is seasonal, okay? And somebody just asked me if I'm selling my butters. Yes, I am. You can definitely email me. I'm still doing that. And so, yeah, they're very big on dairy. But one thing I found when I went to the store, it was hard for me to find butter. There was a lot of margarine that was kind of marketed as butter. And I see that everywhere I go, including in this country. But some people in this country are starting to realize that and be aware of what margarine is. But when I've been in Latin America, and even in the Netherlands, it was a lot of stuff that people were selling that they try to make it look like butter, but it wasn't. And what was I going to say? In Warden, I went to a local cheese place and I asked the guy for real butter, and there was only one thing there that was butter. Everything else that looked like butter wasn't butter. So I found that strange and unfortunate because buttermilk and butter, especially from grass-fed cows, is so nutritious. Very, very, very rich in vitamin K, which is critically important. Omega-3 fats, which we need for our brain, anti-inflammatory for our skin, our immune system. And it's sad to me to see people start to believe the commercial food industry propaganda. Because my real interest in going to Europe in the first place was because as a graduate student at Columbia University, I was in a program that didn't take any money from the food industry. It was the only nutrition program in the country that didn't take money from the food industry. So they made us aware of global food issues, GMOs. In Europe at the time was the only part of the world that was still protesting stuff. They seemed to be the only place that still had standards. Forget about the Caribbean, South America, Asia, and then Europe. Not Europe, sorry, Africa. I have not been there. But I've heard that you're starting to see the same things there, especially when you're in the cities. And for me, I find that every place I go, the stereotype is that Americans eat so much processed crap, but everywhere I've gone, it's been worse in a lot of ways, and I can't find certain things. So one thing about Amsterdam and the Netherlands that's different than the U.S., they're not like these big mega stores or supermarkets that have everything in it. You go to one place for your cheese and your eggs. You go to one place for your produce. You go to another place for your seafood. You go another place for your meat. So it's not like in the U.S., all of that is in one supermarket. So a lot of local foods in that way. I'm a big milk drinker. I'm into dairy. So when I went to a local cheese place and asked if I could find raw milk, because somebody had told me in the past that you could find raw milk in a farmer's market in Amsterdam. If anybody knows anything about that, please let me know, because I'm definitely going back there. I love that place. But please let me know if you know how to get raw milk in Amsterdam, Rotterdam, any of that. So the cheese guy told me that his brother-in-law actually had raw milk, and it was in a small town that wasn't that far away from where we were. But in order to get there, you had to ride the bike. You couldn't drive there. And I was going to go the next day, but I was too tired. And I was just but people do have raw milk. It's not in the supermarket. In the supermarket, I found grass-fed milk that was non-homogenized and lightly pasteurized. You can find that in a lot of supermarkets in the U.S. too. But that's what was like, as soon as you get off the plane, there's a supermarket in the airport and you can buy that. But in Europe, in Amsterdam, but the places that I've gone in Europe, there's not as many options as there are in the U.S. For example, in the U.S., if I want some ice cream, I can go get it 365 days of the year. I can be like, I want a pint of strawberry Haagen-Dazs. I can go get it, or Van Leeuwen or whatever company. I can say I want good quality soap because I'm very picky about the soaps that I use. And I always travel with my own soap, but I left my soap at home by accident. So the only soap I could find was Dove, which I never use, Palmolive, and then some other brand, which are all chemically. But in the States, I could go to Whole Foods, I could go to a farmer's market, I could go to other stores like Whole Foods and find goat's milk soap. And soaps is made from palm oil and shea butter and all these natural ingredients, which is what I use in my skin. In the States, I can find shea butter and cocoa butter and stuff at African markets or Afrocentric stores. But even if you can't get it places like that, they have it at Whole Foods. Even though Whole Foods is overpriced, they do have shea butter and stuff like that. So you can do that. But there, I didn't see where I could find that. I need to explore the Black area more. But in the States, you don't have to go to the Black area to find those things. It's way more accessible. People always talk about one of the differences between Europe and the U.S. is that in the U.S. you have so many choices that it's overwhelming. And it's true. The U.S. sells and markets so many food products. And food products, hold on. in food products, the US is constantly introducing more products. But in Europe, it's like you have like two options. So the problem with that is, let's say in the US, there's 10 different options for soap, right? And there's only two of them that you would use because you think the other eight are crap. But in Europe, they make that decision for you and they just give you three choices. So they cut out seven. And maybe the two that you would use is in that seven. So now you have three bad choices. And so I just feel like there's a lot of things that I could find in the US that I actually couldn't find there. When it comes to soap, when it comes to things you put in your skin, when it comes to like, okay, I'm moving around, I want to drink some coconut water or some watermelon juice for my workout. I couldn't find those kind of things there. So, it's all about looking at things, sometimes through rose-colored glasses. Sometimes you have to take them off because you have this idea of a place, whether it be good or bad, and it might be false. So my experience of being there, I didn't think, that the food in the Netherlands was so great. Like, part of it is their cuisine is just very basic and it just serves a purpose, like meat and potatoes, But like I said, they are very healthy, strong people, very fit. So whatever they're eating is working for them. But it's unfortunate to start to see like the processed, crap from the US start to penetrate into what they're also consuming. What was I gonna say? That the food there, I didn't think that the food, forget about like the grocery stores and stuff like that. The actual cuisine to me is not that exciting. It's like they love hot dogs and hamburgers. I mean, they're not hot dogs. They love hamburgers and fries, cheeseburgers and fries. People always talk about the US with cheeseburgers and fries, but if you love cheeseburgers and fries, which I do too, like have a variation. They just tend to eat like French fries with mayonnaise, which I don't understand. French fries and mayonnaise, like that ketchup could be an option, but for them it's French fries and mayonnaise. And I'm thinking, if you love fries so much, why don't you have cheese fries, bacon cheese fries? Like have some fries with truffle oil. I don't know, like different kinds of, but they don't do that. In the US, you can find burger places that have all kinds of fries, variations in burgers. For them, it's like the same. It's very simple. It's not really that interesting. But the beef, a lot of the beef they use is Irish beef. And Irish beef is actually a very high quality grass-fed beef. So it'll be, high quality beef, but it's not that exciting. Or whatever they're frying the French fries in is the same vegetable oil they use over here. But in terms of the physical activity being ingrained into the culture, one thing that inspired me to go back in January, I'm losing my light. One of the things that inspired me to go back in January is that I heard that the canals freeze sometimes in the winter and people ice skate in the canals. And you guys know I love ice skating. And I was like, oh my God, I love the fact that they ice skate in the canals from town to town and use it as a mode of transportation. And so I wanted to experience that. But because of global warming, it actually wasn't cold enough for that. So I didn't do that. But yes, you all know they ride bikes. Bikes is a way of life. I personally don't like to use bikes as a mode of transportation. I like my feet on the ground. I'm not really into riding bikes with cars. But while I was there, my Airbnb host got me to ride a bike to a store, which I would have just walked to. It was like a 10-minute walk. I would have just walked there. But I haven't ridden a bike since I was a teenager. So that was actually interesting. But bike riding is a way of life. You got kids, parents, everybody riding the bike, going someplace. They ride all day, elderly people going to work, people dress nice. And so I love that about the culture there. Then, the intramural sports from town to town is a big deal. The sports clubs and stuff from town to town is a very big deal, very social thing. And then I also learned that with swimming, like I think all kids are required to learn to swim, but they have like levels of certifications. So, and you can choose to or to not continue with the certifications, but they may have one where it's like, you can swim with your clothes on, one where like you can swim with your arms above water and you can kick and stay above water for a certain amount of time. Another one where if you can swim with your clothes on at a certain deepness, then you get another certification. Then if you can save somebody with your clothes on, it's a higher level certification. And I think that's actually a great idea because that actually can help kids, keep kids safe and prevent them from drowning. Swimming with your clothes on is really difficult. And riding your bike is much quicker in Amsterdam. It's often, somebody wrote, it's often quicker than public transportation. Like to me, I don't care because like, I'm from New York. People ride bikes a lot in New York, even though I don't think New York is very bike friendly, but New York is putting more and more bike lanes, which actually annoys the people in the city. But I don't think people ride their bikes in New York too. And even though it might be faster, to me, it didn't take that long to get there by foot or by car. And in Amsterdam, there's so many trains and trams. I don't see the point. Like the place that we rode the bike to, it was like 2 minutes faster. Like I don't mind walking. I'd rather just walk. I personally am not into using bikes as a mode of transportation because I like safety. And like that's how you could get hit. Like, okay, people are used to driving with bikes, but still, if a car hits you, you're gonna be fucked up. If your shoelace gets stuck it's just too many things. I just like to walk and be able to use my hands and carry shit. And I'm not really into using bikes as a mode of transportation, but it is good. I've never really been a bike rider. I'm more of a skater, especially ice skating and stuff. I'd rather ice skate from town to town than to ride a bike. But yeah, so they're very, very fit. And it's like in New York, actually, in a lot of ways, Amsterdam reminds me of New York. And that's another video where I will talk about that. I'm losing my light right now on my YouTube video. So I'll probably need to end this video. I'm trying to make sure I said everything I wanted to say about, and the other thing, the ladders in Amsterdam are like not like anything. I mean, not ladders. The stairs are like ladders. The stairs are like no stairs you've ever seen in the States. No stairs I've ever seen anywhere I've ever been. They're like ladders. They're very, very steep. You have to be like in shape to get up and down the stairs. If you got bad knees, bad balance, bad back, whatever, you're gonna have a problem going up and down these stairs. They're very, very steep. And I know people that have busted their whole shit with those stairs. When I took my suitcase up the stairs, I had to put my suitcase on my shoulder and then hold on to the wall because this is really, really steep. Like you're going up a ladder. Again, another example of physical fitness being ingrained into the culture, which I really love. Because being from New York, people walk, people ride bikes, people ride trains. Like we move, Even if you have a car, you walk some. And I feel like in most of America, people are always in cars. And America is so car driven. The times I've been to Europe and in Amsterdam, there's no reason to touch a car at all. And I love that. I love to walk around and move around and not have to, I hate being in cars all the time. And the US is very much that way. So most people in the US are so lazy and just, don't even realize it. And that's ingrained into our culture, minus New York City. Yeah. Oh, and also like weed in Amsterdam, a lot of people know about that. And that's why a lot of people come there. But it's actually, the laws in the States are so different now that there's no reason to go to Amsterdam because weed is free. Like you might as well go, there's other states in the US that's even better because in Amsterdam, they don't have medicinal marijuana, first of all. So if you want to purchase oil, which, I talk about the oil and the benefits it has medicinally. Some people need tinctures or waxes for the medicinal purpose, or they need larger quantities. Amsterdam doesn't have medicinal marijuana. It's only recreational. You can only buy like 5 grams at a time. The shops barely have any strains. Like if you go to a dispensary, in America, there's like gazillion options of strains. People know where it comes from. They know about it. They have edibles. They have oils. They have this. They have that. In Amsterdam, some of them may have edibles, but it's really just the flower. There's not a lot of strains. They can't really tell you where it came from because it's not legal technically. So it's not legal to grow it in weed in that country. Even though if you are caught with 0 to 5 plants, it'll probably just be confiscated, and that's it. No punishment. And then after that, I was looking at the laws. It's like if you have 5 to 10 plants or 10 to 15 plants, the punishment keeps going up, but it's still not that bad. It's like, you have to pay this fine, or, it's not like, oh, you're going to jail for 10 years. It's not like that, unless you're growing like 100,000 plants. So laws are not, even though it's illegal, they don't punish you super harshly. So it's decriminalized a lot. But yeah, it's also, it's not legal to grow weed. So in the US, you have states where it's legal, like the District of Columbia, like Michigan, where it's actually legal to grow it in your house. Yeah, and that's all I have to say about that for now. So whenever I go back, and I can report more on what I discovered. But one thing I noticed about Europe, I noticed this in the Netherlands, but I noticed this about Europe, is that every time I eat, like in the States, they give you meat, a starch, and a vegetable, or, if you eat seafood, a starch and a vegetable. So you might have meat, rice, and spinach, or fish, rice, and spinach, or potatoes and broccoli and fish or whatever. Like we usually have a starch and a vegetable, but over there it seems like they just have a vegetable or a starch. It's one or the other. Me personally, I don't feel right if I have a starch and no vegetable, and I also don't feel full enough if I have a vegetable and no starch. I need them both, and that's pretty common in the U.S. I feel like is what we think of a balanced meal. I can say that I didn't think that the food was great. So if anybody, has been to Amsterdam and you think they have great food, please tell me where you got it from. Because definitely there's a lot of Argentinian steakhouses, burger and fries, pizza that said New York pizza on it. And I'm from New York, and no place have I ever been. This pizza tastes like New York pizza. But I had the pizza in Amsterdam once, and it was like disgusting. What else do they have? And a lot of Asian food, and then Surinamese food, which most people never heard of Suriname, but it's a country in South America. So all the black people that you meet in Amsterdam, most of them are from Suriname. But Surinamese food is like Asian food, which kind of confused me because it's nothing like other South American and Caribbean food that I know of. So it was like Asian food, but like unrecognizable Asian food. I feel like I need to like read about it to understand what it is I'm even eating. But it honestly didn't even look that good to me. It just looked like fried Asian stuff. But but I need to do more research into the food, but it did not look like I've had Colombian food, Venezuelan food, Peruvian food, which I love, some Guyanese food, stuff it wasn't like any of that. So the stuff that I saw there, like there was nothing in Amsterdam or the Netherlands that I really wanted to eat. I did try some ice cream or something that was local, and it tasted like whipped cream, not ice cream, and I did not like it. I couldn't eat it. So, it being there and just being over there, period, makes me appreciate American food a lot more because I don't think their food tastes that great. But in terms of the quality, it depends on what you're consuming. It depends on what you're consuming, what the quality is. And so that's basically what I'm saying. When it comes to access to stuff, I don't feel like access to a lot of things is what it is in most American cities at all. And so, yeah, I'm losing my light, so I'll stop there. If anybody has anything to add, please add it on my YouTube video. Make sure you follow me on YouTube at The Body Scientist 81. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at _body_scientist. Okay, people, have a great day. Bye.